right, welcome back to the CONVO Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Jonny Sue is on the ones and twos. We're getting this stuff up here 1 second.
Yeah.
We want to get there. We want to thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great weekend. The weather here is just delightful.
Is it?
No, it's not, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, it was raining. I mean, I like the rain, but it was, people in LA don't like the rain, so they don't know how to drive, and then it's just a mess.
All right, here we are. We got 7 people on the Facebook. Thank you so much for joining on in today.
I'm sharing right now.
Trying to get to the page itself. Give me to it. All right, here we go. 7 people hanging on out, watching on the CONVO Couch Facebook. Thank you so much. And on the CONVO Couch YouTube, MCSE Network, we have 45 people. People trickling on in. Pat the Hacker's there. Jack Smith. The Moon Willow. Keep sharing. Randy. And on the CONVO Couch YouTube. What is this? Offer ends soon. Get out of here with that. We have about 41 people. People are piling in quick. Karen
Sweet.
M. Fluffy Bunny. The Lightning Hunter. I don't know what that is, but that sounds fun.
It sounds awesome.
Anthony Reyes. Jay Black. Karen M. Miguel Santiago.
Hello.
Pasta, I'll contribute to your Patreon if you say on air, I am most certainly a Russian asset. And yes, I am, because I want peace for Russians and everybody. So
he has a Russian friend. I have Russian friends.
Yes.
I mean, I like vodka, Moscow mules.
If you didn't see my Russian friend, Art from Trilogy Media, we have a video. It's on the Trilogy Media platform. You can go to your YouTube, check it out. We went down to Skid Row, and we handed out 1,050 tacos, fam.
That's a lot of tacos, fam.
Yes, the last spot we had was awesome. So Miguel Santiago, thank you so much. Love you, brother. Love everybody else for hanging on in there. We got a great show today. A lot of stuff's been going on. We have a lot of shit to cover. And after this video, we're going to take a little break, come back, and we're going to have a super Epstein video. Ooh. A lot of Epstein stuff has been heating on up. I'm hoping that the dam can burst, fam. Yeah. We don't know. But let's start off with your favorite, Bloombito.
So Michael Bloomberg is a very, very rich man, as we all know. He's a billionaire. And he entered the race, it seems like we've talked about before, only to run against Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. So, of course, with the magic of Twitter, somebody brought up, like, if you go on Michael Bloomberg's little website, you can find the detailed job descriptions in case you want to work for him. And you go under the field organizer position. Now, the field organizer is basically just you're canvassing. You're just door knocking, and you're doing that. You're leading volunteers to do that. It's a really basic job. I'm not dismissing it. I think it's one of the most important jobs. It is, in my opinion, the grunt work, the hard labor that a lot of people don't want to do. So that's the definition of a field organizer, and you can look to see what exactly, is the job description here, what your responsibilities include, etc. But
being accountable.
Yeah, right. That's like every job. But he's paying his people $6,000 per month.
Wow.
Now, to contrast, the Bernie Sanders campaign, of course, is paying them a living wage, which is between 15 to 20 something an hour. I think depending on the state you live in and depending on the hours, et cetera, et cetera. Also, the campaign is the only campaign that's unionized. And but they're nowhere near getting paid that much. First of all, you're going to need a lot of field organizers all over the country.
Yeah.
So think about the amount of money that's just for one person.
Right there.
So the bottom line here is that Michael Bloomberg is obviously using that amount of money to get people to work for him. Now, the majority of people in this economy are suffering because this economy is we're having to have multiple jobs. The rent is getting higher. The gas is out of control. There's a recession coming. And people are basically in need. So if you are a young person, which is normally what or a person out of a job, these are the positions that they're geared towards. And so for him to be doing this, what he's doing is he's exploiting the economy, and how the economy is, and exploiting the fact that poor people need jobs and they need money to get these people to work for his campaign so he can continue run as a billionaire and continue exploiting the poor so he can continue making even more money. And you have to realize that Mike Bloomberg, of course, is a owner of a media. He owns a large portion of the media, of course, the Washington Post, Bloomberg, and he's just awful. Wait, I'm sorry, just he owns Bloomberg, and he has so much money in general, but Bezos is the Washington Post. But
you hear the door knocking? Hi, we're here knocking from Bloomberg. Yes, really, I have nothing to say, but would you like, I'm getting paid $6,000 a month, so I have to sell it, but would you like to vote for a billionaire who's non-grassroots, doesn't give a shit about anybody, and started stop and frisk? Then vote for Michael Bloomberg today. Thank you. Here's
You'd
the lawn side.
You'd be great.
I mean, what can you say when you answer the door? What accolades are you going to promote when it comes to Michael Bloomberg? Oh, he's an independent. So he's independent-minded thinking. He might be a billionaire, but he made that because he understands rich and poor people.
And here's the thing about Bloomberg. He, like Pasta said, he doesn't inspire anybody, right? The only thing he has is his money. And we have to just note that is exactly what the establishment is doing. They're just putting out these billionaires and these elites to fight against Bernie Sanders, because it's just ironic, though, because Bloomberg is only taking votes away from people like Biden and was Harris, Biden, maybe Buttigieg now, taking those votes. He's not taking votes away from Bernie supporters. That's just not happening. Yeah. So it's really interesting that this is happening. Now, the other reaction was like, oh, well, that's a decent amount. Everybody should get paid that much. I'm like, yeah, people should. I mean, it's not even, it comes out to about like $72,000 a year, which is
great.
It's
for
not
a field organizer. It's unheard of.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, should most people be making that kind of money? Absolutely. But that's not how it works. And also, he's doing this to exploit. Now, people were giving us the idea, like, well, why don't you all just apply? Why don't, all of us Bernie supporters apply and just, kind of go under the radar and start, campaigning for Bernie? It's like, well, they're going to figure that out. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't apply. They'd take one look at my Twitter and they'd be like, we're not. That's denied. That application.
Not going to. Well, he is an independent, Mr. Bloomberg. We call him Bloombito. I mean, he's not independent like Bernie Sanders. No. Come on. But he is an independent. I mean, remember, this guy once attracted Magic Johnson to support him. So he branded himself as an independent-minded thinking, which was kind of an allure back then. But right now, to the general public, he looks like more of an establishment Democrat more than anything. Yeah. He spoke at the DNC, all that shit. And he spoke like most establishment people do. He echoed their sentiment, and I think he's in their corner. And yes, this is all about kind of, using his ego and tricking him to think he has a chance. Yeah. Meanwhile, hopefully that he'll take some votes away in New York or these other independent-minded thinking places of people who might vote for him. I don't know what his whole inside game is and why he would enter this race. I wish somebody would have told him that, but hey, what are you going to do? And once again, this is exploiting the fact that people do need jobs. Yeah. I mean, shit, dude, that's a good salary right now. Right. That is really $72,000 a year is the knock on door. It's unheard of.
It's $1,500 a week.
Yeah, it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Yeah. So.
What else we got next on Bloombito?
So Bloombito has talked about a lot of things, including talked about poor people. This is what I want to point out in relation to this, because this is what he thinks about the poor, and this is very important. According to Forbes, he said that they said that Michael Bloomberg's insistence that you tax the poor to help them live better lives, because that's how you teach them better habits, like drinking fewer sugary beverages. Heaven forbid that you fund equal health care, offer education that is affordable, and pay equally despite differences in race or religion or gender. That you reduce the invisible strain put on so many that causes them to seek comfort in something like poor food choices. And then that you start to admit that you are a major cause of the issues and perhaps shouldn't feel so free to lecture. This is something Democrats should know by now, and often they do in theory. They just don't speak and act in accordance. So
what the hell does that fucking mean?
So this is they're commenting. This author was commenting on kind of making fun of Bloomberg, which is interesting from Forbes. But they were making fun of Bloomberg because Bloomberg had said that if you tax the poor and you make sure that they have to work, then they're going to understand and value that they need to lead better lives. So, and he literally said that they need to stop drinking fewer sugary beverages. But here's the thing: that's it's not only unnerving for a rich person to say that, because pasta that it costs so much more money to be healthy,
Oh, yeah.
to buy salads, to buy organic juices, to not be unhealthy than it does to go to a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. And buy something that's super cheap because you don't have money. And that's something that someone like Bloomberg obviously is so privileged that he doesn't know. He doesn't even realize what he's saying is disgusting. It's so elitist. It's so like, well, what do you want people to do when they don't have the money to buy anything but a sugary beverage?
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're the only country where our impoverished is obese. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, our poor people are obese. Exactly.
It's ridiculous. And it's just so easy. Even when you go right nowadays, the options at Carl's Jr., if you want to upgrade to the veggie burger, the Beyond Burger, it's $2 extra. You know, so no matter what, they're going. I mean, it's vegetable versus meat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those situations. You know, our poor eat bad. And here's the thing: when you are poor, you start digging in deep. You start cutting things like food. You don't go out as much. You don't buy better food because it's more expensive. You start thinking cereal, peanut butter and jelly, all the things that are made for you to consume to put on calories, weight, whatnot. It's like one of our friends, Crow, said, pretty sooner or later they're going to have the freaking high fructose corn syrup just IV'd into the arm because they got people addicted to that stuff because that's what they do to poor people. You know, they keep them unhealthy, uneducated, and they suffer into the freaking grips.
So for somebody to say that is just gross. And you had a...
Oh, we do. Yeah, at the 48-second mark of this next video over here, I just want to show you, fam. You really want to melt? This is a man who knows how to speak Spanish. Watch this one. Holla Mea Bloomberg.
Pretty bad. He had all these press conferences during this run. I think we have sounds of him
some sound.
talking to him.
You can be your own judge.
Por favor, empieza a mobilizarse. Es muy peligroso quedarse en esta área y estará violando la ley. Por favor, protéjanse y tome precauciones.
Oh, in good fun.
Wow, that's worse than pasta Spanish, and that's not saying much.
Fam, my Spanish was good. My Spanish is great. Anyways, thank you so much, Mr. Blombito. The way you speak, it just melts my heart. Before Steve Wilbrandt, Luis, Amber, Lee, Gregorio, all hanging out on the Facebooks. Guys. Gabriel Ramirez, what's up, fam? Damian Adams, Russian, Nicole, Nicholas James Billing, Chris David. Thank you so much. 20 people hanging on out at Facebook. 81 on the MCSC network. Pat Hacker still there. Jack Smith. Beat the House Sports and Politics. Steve Squaw. Audit Press. We're going to audit it. That's right. And Maddie Zubik. Thank you so much. And on the... Oh, we have a Super Chat contribution. Thank you very, very much for the Super Chat contribution. As it is always. Appreciate it on the couch. Jason V. Can't stick around, guys, but keep it up because you're legit. The best progressive commentary out there right now, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Jason. That means so much. We are just trying to do the best we can with what's going on out there. We also have a Super Chat contribution from Lawrence Chu. And thank you so very much, Lawrence Chu, as your Super Chat contribution is always appreciated on the couch. I am a Sloboda fan now because of you guys. Thanks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mark Sloboda is going to love to hear that.
Yeah, he is. I think some of you guys just love hearing Pasta piss me off with his little jingle.
And Gloria Jones says, thank you, Gloria, for the Super Chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on the couch. Go to her speaker back there. I'll be spamming Tulsi flyers all over in IMU. What does that mean?
IMU?
IMU. LMU.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. I'll be spamming Tulsi flyers all over LMU, Loyola Marymount.
Yes.
Before I go home for the break, so people going to the debate will see her one way or the other. And Epstein didn't kill himself. You're right. That is right. And we're going to do an Epstein show after this and stuff. Where's home for you, Gloria? And keep an eye on out.
Miami.
Okay. Yeah. Gloria Jones, who handled that Tulsi workout. I saw her running over there.
She did.
And she's always ends up with a hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself. Keep an eye on our channel, Gloria. We know you do. We might see a video with yourself out there sooner or later. Who knows? Right. We might see one. All right. So PDB, another guy. So we talked about your favorite Bloomberg. No talk about your favorites would be complete without your boy, Buttigieg.
So Pete Buttigieg is constantly pissing everybody off now. I mean, there's the hashtag Pete Buttigieg is a lying MF going around. But he continues saying he wants to get money out of politics, that he doesn't take super PAC money, while simultaneously holding fundraisers for that are completely private, right? And full of millionaires and billionaires. So can you go back to the thing we were at? Okay, great. So Pete Buttigieg seems fairly uneducated on class, and he clearly hasn't dealt with any of the poverties. And I just want to, Jonny, just go right down to the video, because I want to show people the multiple times he's actually avoided the question of his money. I asked him about his money. Yeah. Then somebody else asked him about his money recently, and then of course a young college student asked him about his fundraisers and
the KDM convention. Here we go.
On the other hand, the other side of the coin is the other side of the Democratic Party is running largely on a progressive platform. You just got back from a fundraiser in Palm Springs. Why should the American people continue to vote for somebody who caters to big donors and big money?
Well, there are a lot of progressives in Palm Springs and every part of California that I have been to. And there are also a lot of moderates and even some people leaving the Republican Party who are embracing our vision for progressive change that's delivered in a way that can unify the American people. We have over 600,000 individual contributors in this campaign. I don't take corporate PAC money, but those 600,000 plus individuals are all part of this movement in order to deliver a better future for this country. And I'm proud to have that kind of support.
Just sidestepped the question completely, fam. Didn't say anything.
He also had the audacity to say there's a lot of progressives in Palm Springs and blah, 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 as if he's a progressive. And I want to point out before we go on to the next video that Pete Buttigieg, like I said, has a problem with class. He said back in 2011, which of course you can't really, pin him down too much because that's 2011. But he says that he said that before he was mayor, he said, you're motivated because you believe that at the end, poor educational processes, there's a reward, there's a stable life, there's a job. And there are a lot of kids, especially in the lower income minority neighborhoods, and this is all at the very end, Jonny, who literally just haven't seen it work. And he's basically saying that the problem is the low income people, that they don't know how to exist. And he completely ignored the fact that lower income neighborhoods and minority neighborhoods don't receive the funds that well-off neighborhoods already have. Why? Because what happens is when you're a teacher and you take standardized testing on your kids, you give them standardized testing, what happens is that the better the schools perform, the more money they get. And the worse they perform, the less money they get. So that perpetuates a system where the poorer you are and the more of a minority you are, the less money you get.
The overall system is catered to kind of punish the poor at times, especially when it comes to education.
Let's show Pat the Burner, who tweeted this little video of Pete Buttigieg, of course, once again being asked about his fundraisers and completely blatantly avoided. Yeah.
For months, we've asked about opening your fundraisers. When are you going to talk about it? Pete, I don't have a timeline. Can't you just open them up? Pete, yes. Why haven't you? Lots of considerations. Can you give us an example of considerations? No. And what the more and more press conferences we have like this, the more and more this guy will get exposed. He's getting exposed left and right.
Absolutely.
Earlier today, you said you were open to having a conversation about opening your fundraisers, and that's a question that reporters have been asking for months now. So I'm wondering, when do you expect to actually have that conversation and give like an answer on that?
Again, I don't have a timeline for you.
Well, as the candidate, can't you just direct your campaign to open those fundraisers?
What's that?
As the candidate, can't you just direct your campaign to open those fundraisers?
Yes.
And why haven't you done so?
What's that?
Why haven't you done so yet?
There are a lot of considerations, and I'm thinking about it.
So I know the audio there was a little low, but it's basically what Pasta read.
Yeah.
Just so you guys have that clear. And the audio is even really bad at this last one because whoever was filming didn't have a mic or anything.
Well, they don't have a Jonny Tsunami who says, make sure you get those microphones off. Jonny was running around the building. We were holding, when somebody spoke, we were trying to get their audio. Therefore, we can get all the questions because we don't want these people to be hide. We don't want these people to hide.
Yeah.
We want to get them on everything.
Right.
And it's kind of a shame. Jonny put up on our video how it has such little traffic. We went searching for those on Google's. They're hidden. So, guys, please share those videos because we exposed them. You can see Fiorella asking him a direct, sound question. You just got back from that fundraiser. And even when I ask him the question, the same thing. It's the platitudes going around and round.
So this last one has captions you can read.
Ah, thank God.
Because you're not going to hear much. So he asked him, hey, do you think, that since you believe getting money out of politics, that includes, not having these closed fundraisers? And he blatantly was like, no. And walked away.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a fraud. He is a liar. I mean, at least don't pretend that you are a progressive. I mean, he's running as if he's a progressive. Yeah. It's disgusting. And he's blatantly lying to people to their face. And I mean, even saying like, no, because he's still saying, I believe in getting money out of politics. I believe in not taking super PACs. I believe in all of this. He talked about his not taking super PACs when we were there, but he's obviously taking the money. He's having secret meetings with these billionaires and billionaires. He's having these private fundraisers. Why do you think he's not opening them up? Because it'll say who these people are and what kind of money he's taking. So he's full of it. He's lying. And it takes a sort of freaking psychopath to lie up front like that to people and still continue saying, oh yeah, I'm progressive. I want to get money out of politics. Yeah. And just because he speaks so eloquently and talks about restoring our pride and our just the platitudes, some people buy it.
Yeah, well, they do. When we saw him the first time talking, was it the San Francisco floor? And I remember we were sitting down, and some people that were coming up that we knew smiling and taking pictures. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this guy he really is a sociopath. I say it all the fucking time. Yeah. Guys, go to our things. Fiorella, you should really you should clip these up and share these on your Twitters, the ones we have, because this question that he's asking him, this gentleman in the purple hat.
I did already. This one, the Pete Buttigieg one from ours.
From ours?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not getting the views and the shares, but it really needs to. Fiorella asked that question at a press conference, and that's the whole thing. It's these loopholes that they keep finding. Oh, I'm not going to take PAC money, but I'm going to sit down with individual donors who have a ton of money who are going to buy my influence. That's okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're kind of sidestepping stuff. You're being very disingenuous, and you're being openly nefarious. So that's that. What do we got next?
Nope. Right here. So Elizabeth Warren is eyeing Kamala Harris as a VP, as is Joe Biden. But more than anybody, Elizabeth Warren has actually made certain remarks about why Kamala Harris is so great and how she used to work with her. And let me see. We have the video right here, Johnny.
That independent one right there.
No, it's not. It's this one right here. It's not. It's right there. But let me just kind of read over what Elizabeth Warren says. So Warren added that she and Harris have a long history of working together. And she said well before Harris was a senator, she said, I started working with Kamala back during the housing crisis when she was Attorney General of California and I was setting up the consumer agency. And boy, was she a tough advocate for families. And though Harris is no longer running for president, she'll still be fulfilling duties as senator, and Warren thinks we'll be seeing a lot more of Harris in the future. Kamala's terrific, Warren said, and I guarantee we're going to hear a lot more of Kamala Harris in a lot of different ways. So this, she said on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, which airs weeknights at 11 on MSNBC. And here's the video, which is a 30-second. At 30 seconds, Johnny, she starts talking about
campaign. Your colleague, Senator Kamala Harris, was forced to drop out, having trouble financing her campaign. She's nowhere near the lowest in the polls. There's plenty of people below her in the polls who are still in it. A lot of talk of Kamala Harris as a possible vice presidential candidate. Would she be on your short list already?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, Kamala Harris would be on any Democrat short list. She's smart. She's confident. She's got this terrific voice. And look what she did. I started working with Kamala back during the housing crisis when she was Attorney General of California and I was setting up the consumer agency. And boy, she was a tough advocate for families. And Watch what she did during the Kavanaugh hearings, holding our attorneys general accountable, going after Barr, going after Sessions. Kamala's terrific. And I guarantee we're going to hear a lot more from Kamala in a lot of different ways in the coming time.
I want to take a quick look at...
I would say she's canceled, fam, but she's already been canceled for me, Elizabeth Warren. I mean, seriously.
I mean, a lot of people, you know, I recall back in the day were like, oh, yeah, like, you know, Elizabeth Warren is a progressive. She'd be great. She'll probably pick Bernie. And it's like, no, she won't. She was never going to do that. She's eyeing people like Kamala because, number one, it's a woman of color. That's the identity politics right there. Number two, Kamala's still establishment and has also had the audacity to run as a progressive, even though she's not. And people outside of California didn't really know much about her until, of course, that Tulsi exposed her, and a lot of black and brown people who have been hurt by her exposed her, and her own record exposed her. And so, yeah, so for Elizabeth Warren to be, I mean, she could have just shut her mouth even if she did like Kamala, and she would have been better off. But now that she's openly, you know, talking about Kamala being so great and so wonderful and blah, 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 it's like, no, lady, if you become anywhere near the presidency, we're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna like it. And whether it's Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren or whoever it is, Kamala Harris as a VP would be terrible in general. It would probably ensure 100% probably ensure a Donald Trump victory. And it just goes to show that Elizabeth Warren has never been a progressive. So I don't understand why people like some people on TYT continue promoting this idea that Elizabeth Warren is a progressive, that she's still great, that she is structurally going to change things. She's not.
I mean, seriously, I would not vote for Bernie Sanders if he picked Kamala Harris.
That's another thing.
I mean, so I don't think I would do it. I would really feel like so betrayed. I'd feel awful. Yeah. I'd feel like, okay, now I don't know what's going on. Who's putting you up to this? Because I know he wouldn't on his own recognizance. You know what I'm saying? So if, in fact, she is a VP in any way, shape, or form, I will not be voting for her. She is the epitome of what a bad Democrat is, establishment Democrat that is just so awful on policy. She was awful as a senator, as an AG. I mean, what are you talking about, Elizabeth Warren? Steve Mnuchin, okay, she's not been taken on anybody. The San Onofre thing, there's truancy, there's time and time after again. This is why she's off that stage, because she was an awful candidate. And for you to praise her, Elizabeth Warren, just even further shows me that you're just not a serious fucking progressive, and you never were.
Exactly, absolutely. And I think some people, even some Bernie supporters, were like, well, maybe Kamala Harris should be the VP because, I mean, that'll get, you know, the black. No, it won't. No, it won't. We need to stop thinking like that. We need to stop thinking like, oh, the strategy is to get people of color based on only symbolism. That is not actual economic change for these people who are poor. If you only focus on the color of people's skin with no economic ties or no economic policy that actually helps them, if you promote somebody that's not going to support the same kind of policy as Bernie Sanders, you're looking at it in a very superficial, very like myopic way. You're not thinking big picture, and that just doesn't work anymore. That kind of thinking is what got us here in the first place. And if you don't want a repeat of Donald Trump, you have got to stop thinking like that. Yeah. You got a super chat?
Super chat contribution from Ruth P. And thank you very much for the super chat contribution, as it is always. Appreciate it on the couch. Ruth P says, booty is an arm of the Hillary industrial complex. I like that. It's a good play. That's great puns out there, Ruth P. Yes, Buttigieg he is a CIA freaking asset.
He's absolutely.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about what his shit in Iraq and what he did.
Yeah, we have a lot.
He was a naval intelligence officer, so by definition, he is a spook.
He worked for McKinsey.
Okay, that too, as well. You know what I'm saying? So he helped the corporations over there as well, and he's been trying to hide that. Truth Dig did a great article on that. You've been exposed, PDB. You're down in the dumps. So this is something that's important right here too as well. Bernie, what did he do?
So Bernie responded to Hillary Clinton. As you all know, Hillary Clinton basically smeared Bernie on air.
Howard Stern.
Yes, when she was being interviewed by Howard Stern. And she said on December 4th that she talked about how Bernie Sanders took too long to endorse her in 2016. He hurt me, there's no doubt about it, and I hope he doesn't do it again to whoever gets the nomination. Once is enough. Okay, so she said that, and here's a video, Johnny, if we can just play it.
And
as a reminder.
Howard Stern is totally canceled by me, by the way, too, as well. In other words, you would have been so good. Shut up, Howard, with your freaking hair.
I went to the inauguration of Donald Trump, which was one of the hardest days of my life, to be honest.
Call it Hillary Clinton unplugged. Sort of.
Bill was the first guy you loved.
No, there was somebody before him.
For 2.5 hours, the former Democratic presidential candidate talked about her personal life and politics with Sirius XM's Howard Stern.
I don't know if I was too nice, but I was certainly, very careful. And the reason is, look, I grew up at a time when if you were going to get through a door as a woman, you did not react to anything.
Among the highlights, how Clinton felt about President Trump's victory and inauguration.
I mean, obviously, I was crushed, I was disappointed, and I was really surprised because I couldn't figure out what had happened.
And you hadn't even written a losing speech when you lost that night. You had only had victory in mind.
No, and everything was pointed in that direction. You put on the best face possible, and Bill and I are sitting with George and Laura Bush. And then he started on that speech, which was so bizarre. And that's when I got really worried. And then that carnage in the street and the dark dystopian vision, I was sitting there like just, wow, couldn't believe it. And George W. Bush says to me, well, that was some weird shit.
Wow.
Clinton also took aim at Republican leaders such as South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, a man she once worked with across the aisle when she was a New York senator.
Lindsey was good company. He was funny. He was self-deprecating. He also believed in climate change back in those days.
Really?
And yes.
Like he would say, I'm concerned about the future for my children.
Well, he doesn't have any children, but he was concerned about the future. Yeah, absolutely. And so I saw him as somebody who, had been working to try to figure out what he believed and how he could do things.
Has he sold his soul to the devil?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that's a fair question, however. And what I don't understand is how he went from being the friend and the real confidant of the maverick, John McCain, who, I didn't agree with politically, but I found him to be a man of integrity, a man of, real strength of conviction. Now, I don't know what's happened to Lindsey Graham. I'll be honest with you. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He wrote, how Time Magazine has like the top 100 people and all that. One year, I don't know, back in a couple of years ago when I was in it, he wrote the tribute to me. Then now it's like he
Characteristically candid regarding whispers about her personal life.
Well, contrary to what you may hear, I actually like men.
Oh, right, yeah. That's the other thing.
The other thing. You're a lesbian. We're friends.
Raise your right hand. You've never had a lesbian affair. Never
even been tempted. Thank
Unbelievable.
You very much.
There were no questions during the sit-down about former White House intern and love before Bill Clinton. Tried to press Clinton on the field of 2020 candidates. She pledged to support whoever the Democratic nominee might be, though she did have a few choice words for Bernie Sanders.
Do we hate Bernie Sanders?
No, I don't hate anybody.
Bernie could have endorsed you quicker.
He could have. He hurt me. There's no doubt about it. He hurt me. But going back to the indictments, because that's what's really important.
Have you ever spoken to Bernie about that?
No.
You don't talk to him?
I don't talk to him. Yeah, I mean, we did when he finally endorsed me and all that.
But you're upset with him?
No, disappointed. Disappointed. Okay. So, and I hope he doesn't do it again to whoever gets the nomination.
Right.
Once is enough.
Okay.
I hope he doesn't alert the sheep what's going on, fam. I hope he doesn't do it again. Wake people up.
I just want to go over the way she was. If you guys notice her behavior, very arrogant. Like, I don't understand what happened. How did Donald Trump win? She obviously she knows what happened. She knows what she didn't do. She knows she didn't go to the stage. She knows she didn't campaign. She is the definition of like a psychopath. Yeah. I mean, this woman, the arrogance, the narcissism, like, oh, Bill wasn't the first one. It's just disgusting when you watch her. It's so hard to watch her because you're like, this is a real person that's like that. I'm like, I don't think I've met very many people like that. It's disturbing. And then, of course, when she gets to Bernie, it's just like the audacity. Oh, he hurt me. I'm disappointed. Oh, he waited so long to endorse me. First of all, the fact that he endorsed you, like, is to me was awful. Awful. Imagine if he hadn't endorsed her. A lot of us were like, Bernie, how can you do that? Well, he said I would endorse the nominee.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't have voted for her, and I did.
We were all fighting The reason he didn't is because there was obvious election rigging. There were obvious issues in multiple states that he was still trying to be like pursue, because his supporters were like, what the hell? Like, this has been our experience. This happened. So obviously he wasn't going to do that right away. And also, let's be real, California hadn't even voted. California hadn't even voted when they had pretty much called the election for Hillary.
Yeah.
California, the state with the most delegates, and the state where we had
it's terrible
giant issues with the ballot process and the voting process.
I like her whole, I was hanging out with another warmonger, George Bush, and, we like, what the hell was that? I'm like, who are you freaking kidding, you psychopath? She's like, me and McCain didn't agree on much. Yeah, you agreed on war.
But he had integrity.
Yeah, you agreed on Ukraine.
You agreed on killing a lot of people.
Yeah, please, who cares?
She's disgusting.
She is, and once again, how can we miss you if you don't go away? And I'm just telling y'all right now, I pay attention to the Epstein section when we come back for and stuff. We're going to talk about a little bit of Hillary.
Oh, yeah. She's deep involved. So
Bernie had a response, right?
Yeah. I'm so glad Bernie had a response. And this is from CNN. On Sunday, Bernie Sanders denied an accusation made by Hillary Clinton that she did this last week, that she delayed his endorsement and that it hurt her candidacy. He said, I'm sorry that Hillary Clinton is rerunning 2016. And he did this during an interview with Iowa Press. I could take out a letter from Hillary Clinton, the letter we've shown multiple times here, saying, thank you, Bernie, for working so hard to try to make me the president of the United States. And not only is there a letter, there's a list of events he attended where he endorsed her, because we, as his supporters, were like disgusted and wanted to throw up every time we saw him campaigning with her. It was disgusting. After we got cheated, it was disgusting. Yeah. Seeing him promoting her.
Yeah, it was pretty bad when you see the Georgia Bolger. I think it was Georgia Bolger, I think her name was. We got a clean house was her famous saying. It's the first time that Bernie Sanders at the convention said we had to get behind Hillary Clinton, and people were booing him. And he was going, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And she came, I don't give a fuck about Trump. Well, I care about Hillary Clinton. What is he? You know what I'm saying? People were livid. And even myself, I had a hard decision to make. And really, to tell you the truth, I was moving back to California, I had my mail-in ballot, and it was because Bernie Sanders got behind Hillary. I said, okay, you know what?
But you voted in Florida.
I voted in Florida because it was a swing state. It was like I was pressured by a lot of people who said if I didn't vote for Hillary, it was very misogynistic. Once again, it was the vote shaming, the threatening. It was like you if you don't vote for Hillary, you're voting for Trump kind of thing. And I did it. It was that's why I can't wait to vote in the next presidential election, fam. I want to get that stench, that Hillary Clinton stench, because I was pressured and I voted. I never wanted to vote for Hillary Clinton ever.
I'm so glad I voted for Stein. And we still get
California, right?
Yeah, but we still get crap. Because of that.
I'll never do it again.
Still get crap.
Never do it again. Exactly. If I was in Florida, I would not do this again. I would not, no way, shape, or form would I even consider voting for a neoliberal to vote for. I'm not going to fucking throw away my vote ever again. Did you want to talk anything else before we get to the next subject?
No, do you have any super
Do we have any super chat contributions? I don't think I missed any. Oh, we do have one. Here it is. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution.
You should let me do
Vaquero Supreme one as them. Is always.
It's not fair.
On the couch.
You take all the super chat contributions.
Because they want to hear the jingle,
No, they
fam.
don't.
All right, here, you can read this one.
No, you already did it.
Hillary is some kind of incurable venereal disease on American refuses to go away.
The rot of the Democratic Party, right? Yes.
The rot. Bethlehem. Oh, fair good, fam. There you go. Do the jingle.
Wait, what did I do?
There you
go. Hope Bernie is not thinking of Warren as his VP. He will lose my vote if he is nominated. If he is nominated, can't stand to trust that woman. Tulsi 2020. Okay, yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I don't think he'll lose my vote. But I would be extremely disappointed. I might, I would be like, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? I 100% agree that Warren would be a terrible choice. I think there are people that want that are working actively to put Warren with him. And I think that will inadvertently in the long run kill the progressive movement, because what it's going to do, it's going to equate Warren with Bernie as if they're the future, when Warren is still part of the establishment, and when that's going to keep a hold on the progressive movement. And that way, I think they would actually purposely make sure that his tenure is a failure. So,
well, let me just say thank you to Bethlehem who gave the super chat contribution because it is always appreciated on the couch. You got to say their name.
No,
Fam,
you
didn't say.
don't.
You got to say the person's name who gave
you
the super
said
chat.
her name already.
No, you didn't.
No,
you got to
he
say
said
the name
already. So
But you
why
didn't
would
say
I repeat it?
No, he said you had a repeat. If you're gonna do the super chats, you got to say the name, fam. Sorry, you know what I'm saying. Fam is in charge of a lot of the stuff that goes on, but when it comes to the super chats, the corny stuff, the games, that's my area.
Yeah, you are corny.
And you got to say it's always appreciated
Iowa.
on the couch. We have about 22 people watching on the Facebook, including Susan Ropel. I'm not gonna even try to say that middle name. Michael Rayburn. Steve Wilbrand is there. What's up, Steve? Julie Smith is here. Sarah Williams. We love Sarah. We love Cheyenne. We love you guys so much. Tracy Moore is also here. Kevin Tui, thank you so much for joining. And guys, our Rockfin, ROKFIN, get on over there. Captain Obvious is hanging out over the MCSC network with Steve Squaw. The People United is here. Alex Knight. There's a $2 super chat contribution from G on the MCSC network. Would Bernie choose his VP? I heard delegates do. That's not true.
No, delegates
it's up to
don't.
Bernie at the end of the day to choose it. It's going to be interesting. I said it in an early way, like make a deal early. And I thought, really to tell you the truth, that he was going to make a deal with Kamala Harris early. But once this whole thing got started Kamala took to that stage, I'm glad he stayed away from her because she was terrible.
Yeah.
She was terrible. Armin Manoogian, Anthony Reyes, propaganda. Where's Democracy? And Saul Construct always hanging out, Peggy, and George Kroll.
Okay.
Then let's get to the good part of this stuff because we got to talk. We haven't talked once about Tulsi.
Oh, calm down.
Can we start talking about Tulsi over
Jesus.
here?
Okay, so Tulsi called out Trump for coddling Saudi Arabia, as you guys know, because of the shooter. This was in response to Donald Trump's tweet about Saudi Arabia. So she's back, fam. Yeah.
King Solomon, which one? Oh, you just went. King Solomon of Saudi Arabia just called to express his sincere condolences and give his sympathies to the families and friends of the warriors who were killed and wounded in the attack that took place in Pensacola, Florida. The king said the Saudi people are greatly angered by the barbaric actions of the shooter and that this person in no way, shape, or form represents the feelings of the Saudi Arabian people who love the American people.
Of course they do, because we supply them with money and weapons.
He's acting like they're friggin' spokesperson.
He's
yeah. This is disgusting. Where are you Trump people
I was gonna say, where are you? Well, where's the Democratic establishment holding him accountable for this? This is more of a collusion than anything with Ukraine or Russia. This is what they won't go after him for. Why? Because they are in it too. They don't mind supplying weapons to the Saudis. Terrible. They don't mind us giving weapons to the Israel and previously Netanyahu. They don't care.
And it wasn't just Donald Trump, fam. Before that, it was Barack Obama. Before that, it was George Bush Jr. Before that, it was Mr. Clinton. Before that, it was George Bush Sr. Okay, they've been pandering to this country, this monarchy, this true. You want to talk about rights, human rights being fucking violated? All people start talking about China, talk about Russia, talking about Modi. No, the serious shit's going on in friggin' Saudi Arabia, where they're beheading people left and right. Okay, in public, and we're supporting this freaking dictatorship. This is the part of the region that we support with military weapons, funding, and whatnot. Okay, he's acting like their bitch, Donald Trump.
That's exactly what he's doing. Let's just watch the Tulsi video,
please. All right, I can read it real quick if you want me to go down real quick. Let me read it. It says, why is Trump acting as the spokesperson for Saudi Arabia? Because he's their bitch. It's a disgrace that the office of the presidency is being used for the interest and the theocratic extremist Saudi Arabian kingdom, the number one exporter of radical Islamist ideology that fuels jihadists like Al-Qaeda, like ISIS, whatnot. This is the time when she was saying, how dare you call these people moderate rebels? Now, I'm sure there are people underneath them who are forced to work and join ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and I know there's a lot of sad situations like that, but we were funding a form of lunacy, a form of craziness, a form of barbaricness, and she's called it out from the get-go. Sorry.
After a Saudi lieutenant carried out a terrorist attack in Pensacola that killed 3 service members and left 8 others injured, why is the President of the United States and his Secretary of State acting as the spokesperson for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? It is an absolute disgrace and shameful that the office of the Presidency of the United States is being used to further the interests of the theocratic, extremist Saudi Arabian kingdom, the #1 exporter and proponent of this radical Islamist ideology that fuels jihadists like Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
Absolutely. And nobody else is, like I said, is really talking about this.
They don't even come close to it.
And Tulsi has been talking about this for a while. I mean, this isn't the first time she's mentioned Saudi Arabia and Trump being Saudi Arabia's bitch. This isn't the first time she's talked about the danger that Saudi Arabia poses, how we are so consistently at their whim and we do whatever they need and we always have their back, even though because of the things they're doing to so many people. And you know, and this is something that people are have liked to use. Oh, she's anti-Muslim, or she's this. No, she's anti-radical, fundamentalist, Islam. That's what she's against, and we're against radical fundamentalist Christians in America, right?
Yeah,
they're a problem. It's the same thing, and I think one thing with Assad is secular. Assad is secular, and there are a lot of very faith-based Muslims who are extremely against Assad, not because of the things he has done, but because of his secular nature. So that's another point, of course, when it comes to the whole Syria and Assad situation.
And this is Saudi Arabia is not about religion. Make no mistake about it. It's oil. It's about the petrodollar. It's about weapons. It's about control.
Well, those in power, but the people, they use religion
I'm
as
saying our relationship when it comes to Donald Trump and everything else, when it comes to all the other presidents before, it's not about religion. It's about control. It's about money. It's about the petrodollar. It's about, controlling resources. So we've propped up this little monarchy for years in this region, and there's people within their own country who are done with them as well. I want to read a super chat contribution, or do you want to? Do you have anything else?
Yeah, we have more. So
Tulsi struck back, or before
no. Okay, go ahead and read it.
Okay, super chat contribution from Mikey Ungi Ungerliner. I voted for Jill Stein for president. I was called a misogynist for doing so. Does Jill have something she need to tell us? Thank you for the super chat contribution, Mikey, as it is always appreciated.
No, misogyny and identity politics only count when it's an establishment female that's running, right? Tulsi isn't a woman of color. Tulsi isn't, she doesn't even count as a woman half the time. The Democratic Party ignores her, as you've seen. So this is Johnny's section. Johnny wanted to, Johnny, why don't you go lead us into
We're going to bring it back. Yeah. Bringing it back, Johnny.
Hold on. Yo.
Yo,
Johnny's there.
Okay.
All right, so what are we doing?
All right, so previously we had a section on the show. It was called You've Been Exposed. And I've revamped the video for You've Been Exposed. And we're going to expose some people now.
Ooh.
And going forward, we're going to have this segment on the show. Basically, the first person, we were talking about this, me and Fiorella. We were talking about this the other day where it was on Twitter. This person, Brianna Wu, she's running for Congress. And she said, Kamala Harris was never my first choice, but my God, was she a better choice than? And she goes on to list Michael Bennett, Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Deval Patrick, Tom Steyer, and Marianne Williamson. Now,
where's this person running?
We'll check in a second. So basically, there's a comment after it says, Tulsi is infinitely better than Kamala ever was. You're entitled to your opinion. She responds, really, I think her work to destroy my ability to have housing, get married, and seek employment as a queer person remains disqualifying.
Wow.
So she's running for Congress, and she's completely unaware of Tulsi's LGBTQ record. So, and, we have the receipts right here. TulsiGabbard.org, a great resource for all our viewers here. LGBTQ+. And you can see all the legislation comes down here. HR 5, HR 1244, HR 2532, HR 2119. She's got all these receipts, and what was it? She's 100%. She has received a 100% rating for her voting record in favor of LGBT legislation.
A voting record
from the Human Rights Campaign, I believe.
And they endorsed her when she was running for Congress, I believe.
So, the funny thing is that Brianna Wu she's running for. She claims she's progressive. She says. a computer programmer, cybersecurity expert, small business owner with a proven track record of fighting for progressive values. So let's see, where is she running, actually? Massachusetts 8th.
District 8. I saw that.
Yep.
She's a software engineer and a feminist. And
I'm pretty sure is she a Warren girl? I'm pretty sure she's a Warren.
Well, she's got that purple in it, so I thought maybe she likes Kamala or whatnot.
Well, anyways, Brianna Wu.
She said Kamala wasn't her.
You've been exposed. You've been exposed.
It takes me about 10 seconds or maybe 5 to go to a candidate's website and know if they're progressive or not. It really does. If I see like I'm a progressive of more fair, if I see stuff focused on the Democratic Party, I know that they're not a progressive. Why? Because actual progressives, actual leftists focus on the issues like Green New Deal, Medicare for all. They list it right away. They have they have like a whole different layout for their websites. I mean, it seems really trivial, but it's something as simple as like just the coloring, everything. Like I can tell. And also I can take a look at your tweets and see who you're retweeting, who you're following, the things you're saying. It takes me about 0 time to know that you're a progressive. So obviously she's not a progressive.
Yeah, and this is several times. There was some other person who she kind of got my respect, Danny, who I believe is Josh Collins's campaign manager, and at the very end she said the same thing. She kind of held it against Tulsi for what had happened at a younger age. You know what I'm saying? And I think the programming of your family is probably one of the hardest things to break as a human being. You eventually have to get out of that mold, break away, and move on. These were never her feelings. These were her family's conservative feelings that really, the sins of the father got passed on. Her voting record, like Johnny exposed, is 100%. Right. 100%. And she's always been there. So the fact they're kind of holding on to this, really, to tell me the truth, is that they're more concerned about the sensationalism of standing up with the Democratic establishment elites than they are real progressive values.
I mean, and they've known this forever, and none of this ever came up before until she really left the establishment. And I just want to add that some of Tulsi's most loyal supporters that I know on Twitter and in real life I've seen are part of the LGBTQ community. They are, and they love her, and they always go and defend her. If you scroll through the comments, you'll see some of them. Hey, I'm LGBTQ. Tulsi has this, and that. I love, she's great. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a really ridiculous thing to harp her on. She didn't infringe on your rights as an LGBTQ person. You can say Donald Trump has done that. You can say
Kamala Harris did that, right?
Exactly, and you can say that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who were well into their middle age before they even decided that marriage between a man and a woman was okay, versus a 20-year-old. I mean,
and didn't Kamala Harris have something where she didn't allow a transgender?
So here's in the comments of the tweet, her responses to that. Kamala actively fought to prevent trans inmates from getting gender reassignment surgery, amongst other parts of her abysmal record as AG.
That's exactly what she did.
Tulsi doesn't have a good pass on this issue, but neither does Kamala. Tulsi and Marianne can't be worse than Kamala.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't even have a bad past. It's opinions. It's like she
It is
doesn't have the
opinions.
voting past.
Yeah.
It's the smears that's been put on against Tulsi, and it's just talking points,
Yeah.
It's just like who was that on Joe Rogan's? Barry Weiss.
Oh, Barry Weiss. Yeah,
Barry
she's in a
Weiss.
sad toady. What's a toady?
Yeah.
I don't know what a
Just
toady
repeat.
is.
We exposed her
it's
once
like
before.
a toady.
I think you got to give another one real quick, Johnny. Can we give another? You've been exposed to Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu, you're welcome on the show, but if you want to come here and talk to the Convo Couch, but for now, you know what? You've been exposed.
Oh,
I
is
love
that
exposed.
Pasta's head?
I love exposed. Yeah, again, I was the creator of the You've Been Exposed.
God.
Johnny is doing what Johnny does, taking it to the next level.
So Elizabeth Warren is another one that we're going to talk about exposing, because you all recall how nobody wanted to touch the fact that she lied about being Native American, and
That's
there were all the
racist,
jokes
fam.
like Trump calling her Pocahontas, people making memes about her being 1/20/20th Native American. But we showed the documents where she literally wrote like, I am Native American, blah blah blah, talked about being a woman of color, etc. A color, I don't know where she thinks she has this, but here's a video of her actually responding. Here's a video of her responding to this. An admission from Warren. I couldn't I shouldn't have done it. I am not a person of color. I am not a citizen of a tribe, and I have apologized for confusion I have caused. Okay, there. Let's play the video.
How long ago was this?
But even so, I shouldn't have done it. I am not a person of color. I am not a citizen of a tribe. And I have apologized for confusion I've caused on tribal citizenship, tribal sovereignty, and for any harm that I've caused.
Okay, I'm glad she apologized. I'll give her that.
Holy shit!
Yourself.
This has got 1.23 million views.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad she apologized. At least she apologized. You know.
Why didn't anybody ask her why she did it in the first place,
Right.
fam? Why don't they ask these hard questions? Is the Convo Couch got to be everywhere?
Of course we got to be everywhere, fam. That's the point.
Why did she do it, fam?
She did it because, fam. Here's why I think she did it. I think there's two parts. There's a lot of people in American culture who, when I've been growing up, have expressed, "Oh, I am 1/5 Cherokee," blah blah blah. It's been part of the American, upbringing, especially in the Midwest, like where she's from, where they're like, "Oh yeah, like my great grandmother was Cherokee." It's been a common, but she took it to the next level by literally writing that on her college applications, her college documentations, then pushing the issue and engaging with somebody like Donald Trump. That's like engaging with like a 4-year-old on an argument that it's not even worth having. So that was her mistake, and that's why I feel like she'd be terrible to battle someone like Donald Trump. He would bury her. And that just shows to me why she has like no integrity in the sense of like, really sticking to something and saying, okay, I'm this and that, I'm not going to argue with you. But she decided to argue with Donald Trump, and then it just got worse. And to have the audacity to consider yourself a person of color when you're really not a person of color is it's a little ridiculous.
Okay. I know in my past life, I was an Italian grandma, so I know what it's like to be a female, but not a...
Italians aren't white, according to you.
What's Elizabeth Warren? What?
She's been exposed, fam.
You've been exposed. Super chat contribution for Rensten. She exposed herself, Elizabeth Warren.
She did.
Rensten, thank you for the super chat contribution. As it always,
Rensten.
appreciate on the couch. Rensten, make sure you're signed up and on the Convo Couch YouTube, the Convo Couch Rockfin. And if anybody's got a few extra dollars out there to help us out, because we got to go everywhere nowadays. Because you see that nobody asked the tough questions. So the Convo Couch has got to go there to the Convo Couch Patreon. Rensten says, Brianna Wu has a history of doing this. You should see her interview with David APAC Man, where she lost it from a question. And something, not for nothing, I can see she's the type of person that would lose it from a question.
Yeah.
The OMG thing, that oh my, listen, you ain't winning anything if you're gonna have this attitude. I'm sick and tired of this neoliberal play where it's the oh my god factor. How can you say that? That's gross. No, everything should be up for discussion. We need to have serious, nuanced conversations. I went out with a friend the other day, and she says that's why she believes the racial divide is growing now again. So we had this point where we could talk about everything. You could say whatever you wanted to, where we had some serious, hard discussions. But now you are demonized if you say this, if you act a certain way, and you're put in this corner. And therefore, it's growing because now we're not having these conversations because we're just demonizing everybody from left to right. And she just, once again, she demonized Tulsi Gabbard for something that was supposedly on her from when she was a child, 19 years old. It's like the Matter for Leah stuff, fam. I was really upset with the Bernie campaign for doing that. Forgive people when they do stuff at a younger age, and let's move on, especially if they come with a sincere apology. And when Elizabeth Warren, she sincerely apologized, but it took this long for her to do it. How much pressure did she have to get from people like us calling her out for her college applications? Why'd you do it then, Elizabeth? Tell the people why you did it.
Hold on, there's this...
Go ahead.
There's this Twitter comment. She finally admits she's been lying her whole life to get ahead in a bowling alley. LOL.
I mean, yeah.
I know, in a bowling alley, what she did. That's great. Fam, we got to expose somebody else, though.
Oh, who?
Fam, we've been talking about this person for a long time. We have our old friends from the show. They're activists, Michelle Manos, Jeremy White, who went to a lot of Black Lives Matter events to protest Jackie Lacey. Now, there's a big article that talks about it. Los Angeles County District Attorney must go, and here's why. Now, what I did, fam, was I took this one part from down below, because the thing that really, really disgusts me, and there's Jackie Lacey. She won't prosecute any cops, whatnot.
And to be clear,
Yeah.
Jackie Lacey is protested by black activists.
Yes,
Literally,
Black
like
Lives
the
Matter.
strongest black activist in Los Angeles County. She's not being targeted for being black. She's being targeted for actually not prosecuting killer cops who are killing black people.
Yes, and here's something else too. When we're going to talk about that, is also the who she takes money from, fam. Right? We talk about this all the time. I'm going to go down right here. It's going to say throughout this ordeal, family members, local community groups, and activists, including Moore's mother and sister, Black Lives Matter, and activist Jasmine Kinnick, implored Lacey to take the victims' stories seriously. And now Moore was the gentleman who was killed, a young black man who was killed in Mr. Buck's apartment. Considering the mounting evidence against Buck, they hoped that LA's top prosecutor would seek justice and prioritize their safety. Instead, Lacey turned away from their pain, from their pleas, and even from their deaths. In a year and a half, the deaths of Moore and Dean, Lacey refused to engage with the victims, who said they were made to feel like criminals. So they're going to, and she's making them feel like criminals. Lacey neglected to warn their communities. She failed to protect the vulnerable, choosing instead to protect the wealthy donor with whom she had financial ties to. Lacey has accepted multiple donations from Buck, including one after Moore's death.
Wow.
Jackie Lacey,
Must
guess
go.
what? You've been exposed.
So, Pasta, I'm going to point this out because, you know, we get some people who love to play identity politics all the time. You need to support people like Jackie Lacey. She's a woman of color. This goes to show that color means nothing to some people when the money is pouring in. This shows that she has more in common with someone like Buck than she does with the citizens she's supposed to be elected to protect. That the black and brown people that are being killed unjustly by rich elitists like Buck, or the law enforcement here, the corrupt law enforcement of Los Angeles. She would rather protect the people giving her money than protect the people of color that probably elected her.
Yeah.
So that is why you see these people every single, it was used to be every Wednesday at around 3 o'clock, protesting Jackie Lacey every single time, because this woman, she has to go. This is what we've been talking about forever. Pasta and I, we've covered this before.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And it's kind of sucks. We want to talk about the blacklisting that's going on, you know. Johnny just put in Ed Buck CONVO couch. He had to look down for a bunch of videos before he found ours. And that's what's going on. But Johnny showed up. We did a reporting. The second body was found in Ed Buck's house. It happened once, and she took money from him again. And I've been to California Democratic meetings at Los Angeles ones where Ed Buck's lawyer has gotten into fights with people of color on the floor too as well. I mean, they've gone after him. It was ridiculous. And what did the California Democratic Party do? They threw the gentleman out.
Yep, that's what they
Who's
do.
running for office,
They throw
and
the
let Ed
activists
Buck's
out.
lawyer in there as well.
Yep.
This guy
They
is
protect.
disgusting. Jackie Lacey, I'm going to call you Wacky Lacey. And Wacky Lacey, you've been exposed.
So remind us of the case, because I don't think a lot of our viewers remember the case.
What had happened
So
is that-
basically, Ed Buck,
Yeah.
he's a big Democratic
Donor
to who?
The Clintons, Adam Schiff, Ed Bauman, all
Eric
these
Bauman,
guys, Eric Bauman, all these people. If you bring up his donations, you're going to see a bunch of high class donors that he donates to.
There have been
You know?
at least 3 young black men found dead in his apartment. Now, this apartment is in West Hollywood, but it's not even his official apartment. It's like a house he has. And
Yeah.
when they go in, the cops find syringes, cocaine, like
Sex toys
everything,
and
everything
stuff.
on the table.
And a journal with writing from the victims as well.
They got that journal.
They got that as
the
well.
journal's brother had said that what Ed Buck was doing to his brother was
Yes.
disgusting, and he has one of these fetishes. He's all tied into all these same freaking creepy
And he goes
Epstein
after
people.
specifically black young men.
Yeah,
and not
poor black
just
men on
young,
the street.
but just poor
exactly.
And
black
he
men.
drugs them all up.
Like vulnerable, like
Yes.
Exactly.
like he's looking for.
Oh yeah, he drugs them up and he has sex with them. And sometimes when he drugs them up, I guess they die.
So then, okay, caught 2 times with a body, and he's not in jail right now.
Nope.
He's walking around
Yep.
free. He still has the same apartment.
Well, that apartment is just a spare apartment. He has another
like,
house.
that's not even his real
That's
apartment.
where his sex played toward.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And you know, once again, Jackie
This
Lacey
is the
took
California
money.
Democratic Party protecting
Yes.
their own. This is what they do. This is
Yep.
what they do.
Wacky Lacey, you've been exposed. Who else we got? And we're supposed to have, I haven't heard back, Rachel Rossi, who's running for that seat,
Mm-hmm.
progressive. in this area. She's supposed to be on this show. Let's hope we get her back on. And, we can see what Rachel Rossi's all about and see if we can support her to beat Wacky Lacey.
Absolutely. And the last one we have, I believe, is the Clinton again. I know we spoke about Hillary Clinton.
God.
But there's another exposure for Hillary Clinton. She's been exposed again. So Clinton donors have been charged in a massive campaign finance scandal, fam. So let me pull this up right here really quickly.
You can see Hillary right there. This is the National Review. So
yeah, but it's everywhere now. It's everywhere. This is important because I'm just going to read a little bit what they, because it's not a lot, but it's very important that everybody understands like the significance of this scandal. So 8 people, including major Hillary donors and a witness to the Mueller investigation, has been charged in a massive campaign finance scheme. The Justice Department announces on Tuesday the individuals conspired to make and conceal conduit excessive campaign contributions valued at $3.5 million in 2016 election campaign and beyond, according to this announcement. Although the indictment does not specifically name the recipient of the donations, it is clear that the contributions went to groups allied with Clinton's presidential campaign. One of those charged, George Nader, is a Lebanese-American businessman who was a witness to the Mueller report. He was also caught in 2018 for possession of child pornography, but received partial immunity in exchange for testimony in the Mueller investigation.
Wow.
This is disgusting.
Yeah. Jimmy did a whole story on this stuff. This is like what you're saying. That, like, literally, this is how much they hate Donald Trump. You got DTS, and this is the distraction. They gave him partial immunity for child pornography.
It's disgusting.
They're using our children as currency, ladies and gentlemen.
And you will always
for
find
a fake bullshit case.
Yes.
And you're always going to find, and this isn't some sort of conspiracy theory, but you will always find the people around Hillary Clinton engaged in some sort of child pornography or some sort of sex scandal. I mean, the more and more you realize, the more creepy it gets. One last thing. Also indicted on campaign finance charges was Ahmed Andy Khawaja, who hosted a fundraiser for Clinton in Los Angeles in 2016 and who conspired to conceal campaign donations from the 2016 to 2018, and who owns an online payments company used among by others debt collectors, offshore gamblers, and pornographers. The company has made numerous campaign donations to both Democrats and Republicans, and Nader also had access to the Trump administration meeting with the POTUS on several occasions. He's experienced in international diplomacy and served as a conduit to the Middle East and Russia. And he was also an informal advisor to Prince of the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah. Fam, it's a
Abu
big
Dhabi.
club, and you ain't in it.
So Hillary Clinton, of course, we know that she's through the Clinton Foundation. She consistently also profited off of people, and they market as nonprofits, which is disgusting too. On top of it all, so Hillary Clinton,
you've been exposed. I like my face.
I like
over
your
there.
voice better on that than in person.
Well, Johnny kind of tweaked up that voice, so just give Johnny some
what
credit.
is that? What is it like the? What do singers do?
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune. He auto-tuned your voice.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
We could make you sound like Frank Sinatra.
Oh, and here's the official Department of Justice
report
release of the California CEO and 7 others charged in multi-million-dollar conduit campaign contribution case.
When are they going to start locking some people up, Johnny?
Never.
When
we
are they
need
gonna
to
start
we need to
locking
make
some
a
people
citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
That's
all right. So we have a super chat contribution from Raynath on the Convo Couch YouTube, and thank you for the super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated on the couch. Back to this one, Brianna Wu. Damn, Johnny, you really got a hot topic over here, because she says Brianna Wu baited the trolls from Gamergate into attacking her so she could gain publicity from playing victim.
What's Gamergate?
I don't know what Gamergate is. We'll have to look it up later and stuff. So that's our last super chat contribution right now. Epstein passport, Saudi. We're going to come back. We're coming back. We're going to talk about...
This was a long show.
We're going to talk about Hillary Clinton again, fam. She was also been exposed somewhere else. Epstein is in Israel. Maybe. He might be in Israel. He might be in Saudi Arabia.
He might be in Brazil with Ghislaine.
Yeah, might be hanging out in Brazil. Might be in Argentina, right? You know, we have friends everywhere in secret spots. Hey, we hit out the Nazis. They hit out in Argentina, and the friends of ours that we wanted alive. So, Convo Couch, let's bring back People's Court. We should bring back the People's Court. I want to get Bane out there from Batman to put these people on trial. So how long till we come back, Johnny, for the Epstein stuff?
Probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
We'll be back later tonight?
Yeah.
We'll be back in a couple hours. We're going to do some Epstein stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, fam. Do we have anything else, Johnny?
Nope.
All right, so make sure you guys get over there on our Rockfin, ROKFIN. We're still on pins and needles, waiting to see if Tulsi has qualified for the debate, which will be on Thursday, the 19th, and we will be covering it on Rockfin, live streaming. We'll be doing a broadcast over it with thumbs up, thumbs down, so it's not distracting. It's a great feed to watch. They've been improving their whole system.
Each time
they even got an app.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's an app for that.
Get on over there to Rockfin. Join us over there. And for your Patreons, before the next show, before we do on the
Epstein,
the
you
Epstein
have the
stuff,
list.
we're going to have the list of the people who were joined us in November and the new people that joined us in December. We're nearing the 90 mark, ladies and gentlemen. And remember when we started getting some momentum about 6-7 months ago, we had 12 people. So from your love, we've been really expanding the show. We've been doing more. And those KDM convention videos, I keep talking about them. I know I haven't shut up because there's such gold on there. We really exposed a lot of these people. Buttigieg, we asked him the question, what are you going to do day one? We asked Tulsi, we heard Tulsi ask the same question at the Proud Bird, which she did a little fundraiser or a little meet and greet, and her answer was so specific, so direct. I'm going to sit down with China and Russia day one, cause a summit, where Buttigieg just gave you the whole platitudes.
Yep.
Going all over the place. So go on there. Is there a folder, Johnny, we have on YouTube? There's a KDM folder.
I'm going to make it right now.
He's going to make a KDM folder, but go and watch it.
I want to point out real quick, a lot of progressives are starting to put out Castro, and I really feel like there needs to be a video done on why that's a bad idea. Why he's not a progressive. He sounds great. He's not bad compared to some of the other people, but he's actually not a progressive, and it has a lot to do with his real estate, with his Obama work. And his foreign policy is terrible.
Awful.
And we have the KDM video to prove it. So
the craziest thing is when he asked you, what are you talking about? And Fiorella's like, I'm talking about us invading these countries over here and causing
I didn't want to say the Tulsi word regime change wars because I thought that would give it away. But
there's some great videos. And like I said, we said this the other day, Tom Steyer is only one of the only few people other than Bernie Sanders to really say that nobody's attacking Donald Trump on the economy, which is his greatest failure. And really, to tell you the truth, it's a huge failure because right now the Democrats have chose to attack him on Stormy Daniels, Russiagate, Ukrainegate, quid pro quo,
because they don't have
whatever.
a problem with the economy because it
doesn't
matter.
affect them, and that's where Donald Trump is going to be able to use that as a weapon, going in there and brag about the economy. He's going to brag about
the growth,
black
the market
employment, all this other bullshit. Meanwhile, the stock market, which he's going to keep flaunting and everything like that, only like 15% of Americans even have money in the stock market. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean shit.
So here, Tom Steyer say that. I got to give big ups to Tom Steyer for saying that because that's an area, fam, we really need to attack him. Only Bernie Sanders. It's not a hot economy and he was listing out all the things. Remember that? That was after, I believe, a debate or after the State of the Union. One of them.
Yeah, probably State of the Union. Yeah. Bernie.
So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back in about an hour or change to do the Epstein story. Thank you so much for following us. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
Johnny Sue is still spinning on those ones and twos. Johnny, say something.
Peace.
Convo out. I'll let your line.